Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something that sounds simple, but is actually incredibly important, especially when the stakes are high. We're talking about briefings.
That's right.
And we're using the Commercial Pilot's Handbook as our guide. It really shows why these aren't just formalities, they're critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And the handbook cuts right to the chase. It says the only reason for a briefing, really, is to help everyone build a mental model of what to expect. And crucially, have a plan of action to handle it. It's about getting everyone on the same page before things start. Proactive, shared understanding.
Okay, so it's not just passing along info, it's building a collective picture. A strategy tool, almost.
Exactly.
So what does the handbook say goes into that? What are the key bits pilots need for this comprehensive awareness?
Well, it's pretty detailed. They need awareness of the environment, right? So expected weather, the terrain below, even what services are available. Then there's the aircraft itself, its current state, any limitations it might have that day. And, maybe most importantly, the people. Who's doing what? What are their duties? What resources do they have? It's all about coordination, making sure everyone knows their part and how it connects.
Right, the big picture stuff. But what about the real nitty-gritty, the actual flying part? Does it get specific about the flight path and the plane systems?
Definitely. Precision is key. The handbook stresses that briefings have to cover the planned flight path for every stage takeoff, the main flight, landing, and not just the path, but exactly how to use the systems, the automation, even down to, data entry procedures.
Why so granular?
Because ambiguity is dangerous. If everyone knows precisely how things should be, down to the smallest detail, they can spot instantly if something's off. Even a tiny deviation. It keeps everyone locked into the same plan.
Okay, that makes sense. But flights don't always go to plan. How do briefings help pilots prepare for, the unexpected stuff? Things you can't fully plan for.
That's a huge part of it. How do you prep for the unknown, right? The handbook says you identify possible threats and hazards beforehand. Things you might run into so you can mitigate them, or at least be watching for them. Cross-monitoring. And it's also about thinking through those non-normal situations. Equipment acting up, an unexpected diversion, an emergency. What's the plan then? It's risk management, not just crisis response.
The source also mentions that this whole process forces a visualization of the flight. What does that actually do for the pilots, that mental rehearsal?
Yeah, that's really interesting, connecting the dots here. That visualization is crucial for what they call enhancing situational awareness. It sort of greases the channels of thought, as the book puts it. It warms it up for action.
Warms it up.
Yeah, think of it like mentally walking through it. By running scenarios in their heads, they're basically priming their brains, making the connections. So when something does happen, they're not starting from zero. They can orient themselves much faster, make better decisions. It helps them stay ahead of the situation, ahead of the aircraft.
Okay, so the briefing creates the plan, the map, but also the guardrails. Is that how the handbook sees its role once they're actually flying?
That's a great way to put it. Guardrails.
Yeah.
The plan from a good briefing gives them that framework to stay within. It helps them spot deviations easily and know how to return to the plan. And the handbook doesn't mince words here. It says, without that framework, flying is just directionless. It really hammers it home, saying, look, no matter how skilled or well-trained you are, irrespective of your knowledge, skills, and training standards, the briefing is the only option to ensure safe flying, at least until the team reaches this state of self-synchronicity.
Geosynchronicity, they just...
Kind of, they're so in tune they operate almost as one mind, anticipating each other, without needing to spell everything out. But until then, briefings are essential.
Wow, okay. So the message is loud and clear. Briefings aren't just checkboxes, they're foundational. They're how you make the plan and then make it work. Key for preparedness, key for teamwork.
Absolutely. Which leads to a thought, maybe for you listening. How could this whole idea of building that shared mental model, that clear proactive plan, how could that change how you prepare for complex tasks or work in a team, even completely outside of aviation? Something to help about.